The summer of Giannis Antetokounmpo has officially begun as the Milwaukee Bucks have lost in the first round of the playoffs for the third season in a row. And now you have all of these reports, all of these rumors about the future of Giannis and Milwaukee. According to Shams Charania, he reported that Giannis is open-minded about exploring a trade for the first time in his career. And this has not come by surprise to me. Giannis wants to win championships. He is in the heart of his prime. He is only 30 years old, and you've seen this building for a while now. In my opinion, it started last year when the Bucks fired AJ Griffin midway through the season. He looked really good as the head coach, but he had some butting of heads with Giannis. So they would hire Doc Rivers midway through the year, but that would result in a first round exit last year, a first round exit this year, and now you see Giannis being more vocal and now being open minded to the thought of a trade leaving Milwaukee for the first time in his career. And this really doesn't come by surprise to me, ladies and gentlemen. Giannis and the Bucks have not been winning over the past few seasons. And let's call it what it is. Giannis is the only reliable and consistent piece on that team. Outside of him, the Bucks are a dumpster fire. They have no young talent. They only have one pick in the next 6 years that they can trade. Damian Lillard just suffered a tragic Achilles injury at this stage in his career. Who knows how he'll return? What is he going to look like? I don't even know if he'll be able to play at all next season. It's just Giannis in Milwaukee. It is just Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he has been everything for this team over the past few seasons. And now they might lose him. They are in jeopardy of losing him, but they need to figure out what they're going to do for their future, because if they get rid of Giannis, they're going to have a chance in their future. If they keep Giannis, he's only going to get more frustrated. They're not going to have an opportunity to kind of rebound and rebuild once he leaves. But if you get rid of Giannis, you can get a boatload of assets. And we're already seeing teams chomping at the bit to get a opportunity to get a potential Giannis Antetokounmpo player. And we see some different reports coming out. The first one, of course, was from Shams, how he is open-minded about exploring a trade for the first time in his career. We've seen some other ones. He is reportedly intrigued by the idea of playing in a state with no income tax. That would be a team like the Spurs or maybe the Mavericks. And I'm going to go through some of the destinations that I think Giannis could definitely end up in this summer if he does get traded. If they do decide to move him, which I do believe they will decide to move him. And you look at the odds right now for Giannis to get traded. Houston is at number one at plus 200. We have the San Antonio Spurs at number two at plus 300. The Nets at three at plus 550. The Raptors at four at plus 550. And then the Miami Heat at plus 500. But I see some different options on the table for Giannis and for some teams that might trade for him. First of all, I believe that the Houston Rockets are going to be very aggressive this offseason. Now, they've kind of downplayed it. They've reaffirmed Jalen Green, how they want to keep him there. But I think Houston has the proper assets right now to go take a big swing on a guy like Kevin Durant, a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, to try and get over the hump to go win a championship. They have young pieces. They have guys that are ready to get over this hump, but they need a true number one. And I don't think Şengün can be a true number one, and I don't think Jalen Green can be a true number one. But if you package Jalen Green and some picks and maybe another player or two like Fred VanVleet to match salaries, could that get it done for Giannis Antetokounmpo? Another team that I'm looking at is the San Antonio Spurs. They landed the number two overall pick in this year's draft lottery. They also have another lottery pick in this year's draft. And of course, they have young assets. They have the two reigning rookie of the years in Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama, and they traded for De'Aaron Fox at the trade deadline. This is a great nucleus of players that you can build around now. Do they have enough to pair a Giannis and Wembanyama? That would absolutely break the league. That would be unbelievable. Those are the two teams that have the best odds to go get him. Two teams in Texas, no state income tax. And I'm not sure why this team doesn't have higher odds to go out and get Giannis, because I think this could be a very interesting decision. But what about if Dallas were to trade the number one overall pick for Giannis Antetokounmpo, maybe throw in Klay Thompson and another player on the bench to try and match the salaries, but could that entice Milwaukee to trade Giannis if they gave up the number one overall pick? I'm not saying I'd do it, but would Milwaukee be willing to do that if they got the number one overall pick? I think Dallas could be another potential interesting situation. The Thunder are another team. They have so many assets, they have so many picks that Giannis would still be on a contending team. They would just be unbelievable with Giannis. But I think that's another really interesting situation. Another team that I don't believe is going to get Giannis, but they could. They have the pieces, they have the assets. Like you have to remember, these teams that are going to go out and get a Giannis Antetokounmpo, you need to have arguably a top 10 young player in the NBA or a borderline top 15 overall player in the NBA. And that's what I think you're getting value wise from the Dallas Mavericks if you get the number one overall pick. With San Antonio, you're going to get so many picks to make it worth it. Same thing with Oklahoma City. And for Boston, could the Celtics go out and be aggressive to get Giannis? I've seen a lot of people put Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis in trade simulators and say, get those two guys off the team. We want Giannis. Now, I personally disagree with that. I don't think Boston and Brad Stevens would go be that desperate to try and take a swing, especially with Jason Tatum most likely being out all of next year. But could Boston move off of Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis to go get Giannis Antetokounmpo? I think both of those destinations are very interesting. I understand that Giannis has mentioned that he might want to go to Brooklyn or Toronto. I just don't see why he'd want to go to those places. You're not going to contend for championships. Sure, you'd wipe the slate clean. You'd still be the face of the franchise, but I don't understand why you'd want to go to either of those locations. I think even the Golden State Warriors make more sense than either one of those teams. If they could ship up a package of Jimmy, Kuminga, some picks, you might need more, but I just don't see Giannis going to Toronto or Brooklyn. I think Houston and San Antonio are much more likely options, but Giannis has been unbelievable in the postseason. He is still the second best player in the world, in my opinion, with the MVPs, the defensive players of the year, the championship, the finals MVP. Giannis is still playing at such a high level. And I almost feel like the last few years, because he hasn't had the postseason success, that people have begun to overrate Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's the way I view it. I believe that Giannis, which is crazy to say, I believe that he's become kind of an underrated player. I mean, he's been killing it these last few years. If you look at his stats, I mean, this year alone, he averaged over 30 points per game. He averaged almost 12 rebounds per game and nearly 7 assists. Not to mention, he's still one of the best defenders in the NBA. And we're looking at Jokic putting up these near 30-point triple doubles. Giannis has averaged over 30 points in each of the last 3 seasons, averaged 29.9 in the 2021 to 2022 season, but he's had almost 12 rebounds in nearly every single season. Like, Giannis is Jokic before Jokic, in my opinion. Like, if Jokic didn't come out of the scene, Giannis would just be clearing through all these MVPs. Like, he's nearly top 3 in the MVP ladder every single year. He is still undoubtedly one of the best players in the NBA, still only 30 years old. You're going to have some teams that are seriously going to consider going after Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's what he brings. He's so elite, can play defense. What teams are going to be the most aggressive to go get Giannis? I think Milwaukee, with the position that they're in, it's going to be so hard to cut ties with Giannis. I completely get that. But you have no future with Giannis if you just keep him. And they're lucky they're in the Eastern Conference, because if they weren't in the East, who knows if they even make the postseason in the West. They're getting beat in the first round in a significantly weaker conference. Milwaukee doesn't have a future with Giannis. It's time to move on and get as much as you can. Who knows what the Mavericks would have gotten for Luka with the type of attention that Giannis is going to demand this offseason. Just absolutely wild. I cannot wait to see what the summer of Giannis brings. I'm Caden Kubler, and thank you guys for watching.